Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is another Warlock Wednesday, and we are going to be discussing the Eldritch Invocation Armor of Shadows.
It sounds
Ooh,
super spooky. It sounds super cool. Oh my
it
goodness.
does.
Can you imagine, like, maybe this is, do I get cool armor that makes me better at hiding in the shadows? Do I get, like, a shadow spectrally mantle that helps me kill people with evil damage? No. You
From
get a
your
mage armor.
tone, I suspect you do not.
No. Absolutely not. Yeah. So Armor of Shadows reads, and it's very, very short. Like, most of the invocations are pretty short, but they normally have, like, large implications for, like, how the class is played. This is kind of one of those, but we'll get into it. So it just says you can cast Mage Armor on yourself at will without expending a spell slot or material components. And if you're curious what Mage Armor does, I'll read it too, because it's also not very long. It has an cast time of action. It has a range of touch. You touch a willing creature who isn't wearing armor, and a protective magical force surrounds it until the spell ends. It has a base AC of 13 plus Dex mod. Spell ends if the target dons armor or you dismiss it as an action. And it has an 8-hour duration, so you can, like, conceivably put this on, your wizard buddy if they don't have this. But, like, you can't put on your wizard buddy because you can only cast it on you with Armor of Shadows. It only works on you, but, like, you can repeatedly cast it. Now, 13 plus Dex mod's fine, but Warlocks have access to armor proficiencies, and you can take you have light armor proficiency as a Warlock. So out the gate, you can start off with an AC with studded leather armor of 12 plus Dex mod. So you could spend an Invocation to have 13 plus Dex mod. I'm not blown away yet.
No. Tell me there's more. Lie to me.
Armor of Shadows is unfortunate. I think this is the invocation I see most taken on people that are playing Warlocks, because it's like a really easy way to be like, especially if they're out the gate doing it and they don't have like memory of what all the different AC options are, and they haven't like gone through the comparative options and been like, well, what's the best way for me to get armor class on this character? How do I do the do? And you go through the list of like, oh, this is what all the light armors do, this is what all the medium armors do, this is in my starting gold budget, right? They'll normally just be like, oh, I got padded leather armor from my background or whatever, and that gives me a 11 plus Dex mod with disadvantage on stealth checks. That seems garbage, so I guess this seems better. I'll just take this instead, level 2. Don't just spend 45 gold and get studded leather armor. That seems like a better option for you. This invocation's in a really weird spot to me, because you can hypothetically continually recast this over and over again, and anytime you can do that, anytime you can cast a first level spell slot, or cast a first level spell ad nauseum, there are some neat little implications of it. So, for example, there's a nifty, I'm not going to call it good, but there's a nifty little multi-class build with Abjurist Wizards and their Arcane Ward, because the Arcane Ward feature, whenever you cast an Abjuration spell at first level or higher, which this qualifies for, you get twice your wizard level worth of or temporary hit points plus your end mod. So if you have an end mod of like +2 or +3 and 2 levels in wizard for this, technically you can just, whenever you like, cast this and get 5 temporary hit points. That's kind of nifty. I'm not saying it's particularly game breaking or anything like that, but you can imagine like every single time you go into a fight now, for the rest of the time, you're coming in with 5 temporary hit points. If that's the goal, Fiendish Vigor is way better for that. We'll touch on that when we get to Fiendish Vigor, because Fiendish Vigor is a necromancy spell that just gives you a d4 plus 4 temporary hit points, and you can spam that until you get 8, because nothing stops you whenever you can cast it at will. Mage Armor ends up being like I don't know, this could just be cooler. This could just give you something different. This could be a way to engage in the world in a different manner. But if you really want something simple and a menial upside of +1 AC, like, I guess this is it.
Well, this is certainly it, but who wants that?
I don't know.
I mean, opposed to something else. I mean,
yeah, that's where I really get bummed out with
+1 AC. I'll say thank you and take it, but no, I don't want to spend resources on this.
Yeah, Warlocks can't afford to take this, I don't think. Like, you have to, when you're playing a Warlock, you need to juice every single element of the character sheet that they give you. So what that means is, like, you look at your weapon proficiencies, you look at your armor proficiencies, you say, what is the most I can make out of this to make me function in combat? What is the most I can make out of my 2 invocations? How much of a impact can I get my 2 spell slots per short rest to really have happen? that ends up being like, okay, you're investing into long-term effects. You're investing into things that, have big, continually reapplicable options. So like Summon Shadow Spawn is something that will pop up pretty frequently on Warlocks because long duration, multiple effects, it's casts you one of your spell slots. You're really happy with that. Even whenever you're upcasting it with a 4th level slot, you're like, okay, I'm getting 2 attacks now. Lots of goodness there, right? With this, it's just like a flat 1 passive bonus is what it's going to feel like more often than not. And a flat +1 AC bonus, nope. That's just
I
not
have to
exciting
imagine
enough.
this gets even less exciting as you progress in levels, correct?
I mean, it doesn't ever go up, right? Like it only
But
goes,
yeah,
if you're willing to push into Dex more, sure, it lets that keep growing. But so would every other light armor you would be wearing. So
exactly. Yeah, it
that's
doesn't
not
grow at all.
yeah. If you ever get magical armor, you're like, oh, well,
That's what
this
I'm
is pretty
thinking.
garbage.
Yeah, there's going to be a day when the +1 AC matters less and less as you keep going and get other means to protect yourself.
Yeah, like if you ever get just like a +1 light leather armor, that's just better than this. And you can no longer, then this feature no longer does anything, right? This just loses text. You can't double up on it. It doesn't like give you a +1 AC flat. It just says this is your AC while you're not wearing armor. So
Okay, so it gets demonstrably worse then, yes.
Yeah.
Effectively useless.
Yeah, this I struggle because like on one hand, I don't want to say everyone out there don't ever take this. Because it is
You've
really
said this
easy.
before on other things.
I know, but the reason I don't want to say it here is because this is really digestible. If you're playing the game for the first time and you're feeling overwhelmed, as you're playing a caster, like warlocks at first level are coming with cantrips, they're coming with first level spell slots, they're coming with their pact, or they're like the subclass, they're pact. So you get a lot of choices, and then you hit second level, and now you're getting even more choices, even more selection. You're getting another spell slot, you're getting more invocations you don't necessarily know how to use or what they all do. And this is a really easy, digestible thing just to be like, I don't want to feel overwhelmed anymore. I'm just going to take this thing because this sets my AC to a thing and that seems fine.
Well, and to that person, I say, watch more of these videos and pick something better.
Agreed. For that person, I'll say there's way better Eldritch invocations you can take that let you actively do things with them and give you the passive bonus. And that's going to be better than this because you have the option to be like, I cast it and forget about it every day long rest, and that's great. That's fiendish vigor, right? You go, okay, I have my 8 hit points and I don't have to worry about what the rest of this spell does ever again. I can just go on a long rest adventure and never have to worry, or a long adventure between long rests. It's fine. If you take Mage armor, it's just like, yeah, your AC is 13 now. Sure. It does also like, it is, I guess, slightly better than like heavy armor because it doesn't take that long to don light armor. And then most of the time, if you're like coming into an ambush scene whenever everyone's napping around, right? I don't find there to be much value in even spending an action on this, right? Like if you're waking up from a long rest and you don't have this effect on you, well, one, you should have cast on you before you fell asleep, and two, like I don't think that's enough of an upside. Like there'll be enough times where your DM wakes you up by monsters trying to stab you to death where you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm so happy I have mage armor. I mean, hypothetically, it's like, oh, you can't ever get disarmed from it, but like, who cares? This is like, how many times are you getting arrested? The menial upsides here that I think aren't ever worth talking about, but I'm going to bring them up anyway because I think some people might be like, well, what if? And I don't think that's good enough. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this to people that are looking to play this game for more than 5 levels. I wouldn't recommend this to people that have played the game ever before. Like I'm saying, they've played in a one shot and understand now what they're doing. But if you're like really fresh out of the gate, if you're building a 3rd level character and you're the first person, the only person on the table that's never played before, and you feel overwhelmed, you're looking at things and being like, I have no idea what's going on. You can really easily just say, this is my AC. DM, I'm just going to say I cast Mage Armor, and they're going to be like, great. And now you're going to have an AC of 13 plus dex and no longer have to worry about this invocation slot. And if you're ever worried about your invocation slot, that probably means you are brand new to this game, and that is the only time that I think this is allowable. Beyond that, nah. You need more than 1+1 AC from your invocations. They do way more than that. They're like the linchpin of the Warlock class. They're the reason the Warlock class gets to ever be good. And you just can't justify Mage Armor at will. It just isn't it. Maybe you do the cute thing with the Aperture. That's not better than your other options, but it's cute. It's the kind of thing that I would like mess around with. I think that's funky. I think maybe there are a lot of people out there I know that they like the idea of the int warlock, where the idea is, why can't warlock be an int caster? Because they're studying these evil devils and demons and stuff, and they're trying to like get the deep buried, hidden, forbidden lore of the world and use that to their advantage and that kind of stuff. And for those people that are like, yeah, my DMs let me play an int lock, Sure. The Int Wizard Lock multi-class seems fun-ish and probably not better than what else you could do otherwise, but yeah, that's fine. It doesn't have to be better. It can still be nifty. Outside that one niche case, which again, still not that good. Yeah, I don't think you're ever using this.
Yeah, I can't come up with an argument otherwise. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, the other real big thing that's a bummer to me is it's called Armor of Shadows. Like,
I know
it
that sounds so
cool.
cool. It does not live up to that coolness.
It should, though. It just doesn't.
Yeah, well, they should have, called this like lame
Mage Armor at Will
class thing. Yeah, and then made something cool and called it Armor of Shadows.
Yeah, they give us like
even if it doesn't affect your armor class at all, just it gives you like some kind of, like you said, a hiding bonus or something. Yeah.
Like this even could say, and I still call it bad, but if it said like you get proficiency in medium armor, and you get a +1 AC while you're wearing armor, and you ignore the stealth penalties that the things that have stealth penalties impose, then at least it's doing something, and it sounds like it's like facilitating the fantasy. It's still bad. You still don't take that, but like that makes its way onto more builds, and at least will help you feel like if you can't get access to the more expensive gear early, you'll be like, okay, that's fine, we can use this other gear, and it opens up a few different little options here or there. At least it does something, and it's still really inoffensive. Like, it lets you wear half plate, which normally gives you disadvantage on stealth checks, and you'd be like, well, I wouldn't have that, but that's not what's written here. What's written here is wizard first level spell slot at will.
Yeah, that's what we got.
That's what we got.
That's what they've given us. All right, as it stands, do you have a rating for this?
As it stands, I think it's +1 AC isn't bad, so the 2. Like, it's not useless, it's just not good. And you shouldn't take this over any of your comparative options, again, unless you're like specifically the new person that doesn't want to have to deal with more things to worry about, more things to read through. You want to just write your AC as 13 and not ask questions as to why your AC is 13 plus your dex mod. You just write that down. This is the kind of thing that goes on that character sheet. Beyond that, no, you have way better weight. Don't waste your invocations on Armor of Shadows, despite how cool it sounds.
Yeah, I am not going to be so generous. I say to those people, you should be watching more of this channel and pick something better. And so I'm going to give this a 1.
That's fair.
Because you said not useless, but I think it inevitably becomes useless if you as soon as you get access to better things.
Sure.
So there you go. That was viewers, please tell us we're wrong in the comments.
I would also love to hear, like, outside of Abjure, that weird niche case, are there other weird niche cases where spamming a first level abjuration spell that has no other text ever does something? Because there has to be. There has to be a way that you can turn infinite first level abjuration spells into something else. I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
Looking forward to reading these comments. Until next time, we will see you next time. All right, bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns and Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.